What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 50, and today we are returning with a 30-minute thank you special where we play through the entire summer transfer window. The first 4 games in the Premier League, got the draw for the Champions League group stage as well. We send our scouts out today. It's just a packed episode full of transfers and the start of a new season as well. So before we do dive into the episode, as we briefly end season 4 by promoting some youth players and putting some new ones into our academy as well, do you want to say real briefly, 50 episodes into the save, thank you so much for all the support on this series so far. First series I've done in a long time where I've moved clubs. This is our first season, of course, at Arsenal after 3 years at Burnley. First prolonged series I've done where I've made the emphasis focus solely on realism. So quite a different project for me to do for different reasons. But I have to say I've really enjoyed it so far. 50 episodes in and a long way to go, I'm sure. So thank you sincerely for all the support on the first 50 episodes, the first 4 seasons. And in today's episode, again, a thank you special for you guys, 30 minutes long. Took a long time to make, so as always, likes very much appreciated. And I really hope you guys enjoy what is a fantastic season opener filled with so much transfer stuff. So as we do begin season 5, our second year at the Emirates starts today, qualifying for the Champions League last year by finishing in 4th place, European football back in North London. And the budget for the new season is £139 million. So a little bit more than what we got last season. Now with wage budget alteration, you're probably looking at more likely to be 145 to 147 million pounds around there, I'd say. So why not just say 146 million and put it in the middle? But a very big budget for the new season. Obviously last season spent over 300 million pounds on assembling and rebuilding this Arsenal team. But what comes with a big budget is always tough objectives. You see them right there. Win the Premier League. Not just finish in the top 4 like last year, but win the Premier League. Win Arsenal their first Premier League in well over a decade. Win the FA Cup. Last year, knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup by Everton. My earliest exit in my managerial career so far. Just like last season, the board is saying, mate, you're supposed to be the Cup King. Go and prove it. Win it for us. So win a domestic double, and in our first year back in the Champions League, reach the final. Goodness gracious me. Tough objectives from the board for season 2. Can we do that? Can we win a domestic double? Can we reach a European final? All in one season? Well, this Finn squad, I'm not entirely sure. I think the board are being a little bit unrealistic there. Like, I'm fine with the cup objective be win it because I've got this supposedly amazing reputation of being a cup king, so I'm fine with that. But win the Premier League, to me, it's all about staying in the top 4. And in the Champions League, I was targeting quarter-finals, getting through the group and into the knockout stages, going 1, possibly 2 steps further to the semi-finals. But to reach the final, very tough objectives from the board indeed. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that. But with the big budget we've got, and to be fair, a really class squad as I run you through it, there's no reason we can't do it. It's going to be tough, but there's no reason we can't do it. So as I show you the squad here, 4 players had the deals to come to the end of the year, including Kevin Campbell, who is retiring, an Estonian goalkeeper, who, by the way, that's a bug. That goalkeeper, I can't put him on the transfer list or anything. Apparently he's on the loan list, but no bids come in. I can't sell him or anything, so we're going to have to wait for his contract to run down before he leaves. And also 2 more, Adam Ider, the young Irish striker formerly in Norwich City, and also Bernd Leno, who, of course, last year is our number 1 officially, but became our starting goalkeeper last year after we sold Castells to PSG. He might be in his 30s now, but I still extended his contract as he is still a quality goalkeeper and our first choice as well. So for the new season then, 145 mil there or thereabouts. Where are we going to improve this Arsenal team? Well, last year we had the best defensive record in the division, so I thought let's improve our defence even more. So the first signing I decided to make was a new centre-back. I had 2 names on the shortlist. Ezri Konsa, who has moved on from Brentford to Aston Villa and now playing for Southampton in the game, and also Ben White, who's gone from Brighton to Aston Villa. Now, I really wanted Ben White, as many people know, he's one of the highest growing English centre-halves in the game. Unfortunately, Aston Villa don't have enough depth in that position, so I can't negotiate a transfer with them. But for Konsa, we did negotiate a pretty decent deal with the Saints, brought him to the Emirates Stadium, and as you see, 84 rated, 26 years old, very good defensive stats, medium work rate. Is going to give him the stopper development plan. Hopefully that will see him grow a high defensive work rate in time, though I'm not entirely sure if it will happen now, as he's 26 and probably won't get much better than the 84 overall he is. But what I'm going to do this season is I'm going to abandon the experiment we did last year with Mikel Merino. Now, some of you guys thought that he was getting wasted in the centre-half position. He and Ben Godfrey as a partnership worked reasonably well. Don't get me wrong, we had the best defensive record in the league last year, so he wasn't bad at centre-half, but I'm not really going to get much out of Mikel Merino playing in that centre-back role. Really, his best role is going to be that sort of box-to-box role. When you look at his stats here, this guy can do practically anything. He is a jack of all trades. He literally can do anything. Good on the offensive end and on the defensive end as well. Him at centre-half, I just wasn't getting the best out of him last year. You know, again, he can do centre-back because he can do anything, this guy. He can do centre-forward if he wants, but as a rejected bid here for Ben Godfrey, I think he was getting wasted a little bit at centre-half last year. So Conte's going to come in, he'll partner Ben Godfrey, and I'll push Mikel Merino further up to his natural CM role to play alongside Camara or Guendouzi, with De Silva dropping to the bench. So following that signing, as you can see, we had some bids here. One for Maitland-Niles from Everton, which we rejected. A bid for Mancini from Brighton, which I stalled. And also an interesting bid here for Hector Bayeri. Now, I'm a big fan of Bayeri, not just because he's a fellow vegan like myself, but I listened to an episode of his on the High Performance podcast. It's my favourite podcast. I've mentioned it before. It's with Jake Humphrey, the BT Sports presenter. Really, really good. He had a fascinating episode they released a few weeks ago. Really, really interesting. Talking about himself as a footballer and as a man as well. And it was a really, really interesting episode, a dive into his mind. He seems like a really great guy, Hector Bayeri. He's developed so well into a very, very good defender. But I was okay selling him because he's 29 years old now. He's not going to get any better. He's got 1.5 years left on his deal. And Maitland-Niles is our first choice right back right now. I have plans to strengthen that position anyway. And if Lazio put a bid in, we negotiated a £25 million deal with the Italians, and Hector Bayeri is off to Italy. So fair play to Bayeri, man. Did so well to break into the Arsenal team and lock down a spot, but now Maitland-Niles has taken over as our official starting right back. I was fine selling Bayeri because I also have plans to bring in a new right back regardless. There are so many class right backs in the game these days. So many brilliant young ones as well, including some great young English talents, things like Jayden Bogle, who we had at Sheffield United, Reece James of Chelsea, but the one player I really wanted to get was this guy right here, Tariq Lamptey of Brighton, out of contract come the end of the season, and as I always say, when players have the deals that come the end of the year, you can get them for around valuation. That's what we did. £38 million was the fee, 5-year deal, and Tariq Lamptey, of course, let go by Chelsea, went to Brighton, developed his game so well under Graham Potter on the South Coast, but now he's back in England, now he's back in London, coming to the Emirates Stadium. He's grown to 83 overall at just 23 years old, wing back by trade. I think I'll keep him as a wing back though, given the defensive wing back development plan to begin with, because that will train up his stamina and also his defensive work rate as well. And Tariq Lamptey takes over from Hector Bayeri as our new number 2, and unlike the Spaniard, he'll go into our first 11. Very difficult decision because Maitland-Niles last year did nothing wrong, but Tariq Lamptey is 3 years younger than Maitland-Niles. He's a rating higher. I think he'll have some more potential as well. So Lamptey comes in. That'll improve our right back role. And I think the key for this season really is making gradual improvements to the first 11, but also improving our quality and depth, as I reject this bid here for Boubacar Camara, but also negotiate a deal with Brighton for Mancini. The Italian now can go. He's got a year and a half left on his deal, I believe. 28 years old, not going to get any better. And now he bought Conser in. I have plans for a new centre-half to come in as well. We negotiated a £35 million deal with Brighton. That to me is a very good sale to the South Coast there for him to play under Graham Potter. So yeah, Lamptey comes in, pleased with that. Mancini goes to Brighton. He goes the other way, £35 million. I'll tell you what, brilliant deals there with Brighton. I feel like we've fleeced Brighton a few times already in the save, especially with Aaron Connolly back with Burnley. But after we sold Mancini, the reason why I was happy to let him go is because I noticed back on my shortlist, Ben White, we were able to now negotiate a deal with Dean Smith and Aston Villa. And we negotiated a great deal with Dean Smith and Aston Villa. He's valued at £40 million, but we managed to get a £46 million bid accepted for the former Brighton defender. He agreed a 5-year deal as well. And Ben White became our third signing of the window already. And I have to say, the 3 signings we picked up so quickly, Ezri Konsa from Southampton, Tariq Lamptey from Brighton, and then Ben White for just over the valuation from Aston Villa as well, absolutely brilliant deals as we continue to rebuild this Arsenal team and assemble the British core. Ben White comes in. Look, we know that Ben White has been linked so heavily with Arsenal over this summer. Whether he does end up leaving or not, by the time I'm recording this video, there might be some more developments. I did read an article yesterday saying that Brighton had rubbished the transfer talk that Arsenal negotiated a deal for Ben White. It still could happen though. He's a big target of Mikel Arteta's. He was a big target of mine as well, and as he comes in here, 83 rated. The question is, does he start? Because he's a rating lower than Ezri Konsa, but he's the same as Ben Godfrey. But Godfrey last year was really good. So I don't know whether he's going to start or not, which is kind of funny because he has the highest potential out of all three of those defenders. But to be honest here, I'd probably call him my third choice. So I reject this bid here for Josh Da Silva from Inter Milan. Because I like Godfrey. I think he was really good last year alongside Mikel Merino. I think Konsa looks very good at 84 overall. Some fantastic defensive stats. I think Ben White is probably more likely to be our third choice centre-half coming off the bench. And for Ben White to be our third choice, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how we're developing this Arsenal team. We also signed a player on a free transfer as well. The first non-British player I signed, but I couldn't pass this guy up. Willem Guibels, released by Monaco in the summer. Just 22 years old, but already 76 overall. Very talented young French forward. Very quick indeed as well. And again, the upside very high. Quite an expensive contract here for an injury-prone player that hasn't done it in the Premier League so far. This will be his first experience in the Premier League. But I think we'll get that attacking work rate up to high, get his stamina up as well, because that's really low indeed, and improve the finishing as well. This guy could grow pretty quickly as a fourth choice striker in this team. Obviously, we know that Suarez last year, one of our top scorers, he will be our starting striker with Kasper Dolberg off the bench. With either out of contract come the end of the season, I'm going to be okay letting him go. Now, I kept Martinelli here. Big came in from Sevilla, but I really like the Brazilian off the bench, so he's staying with us here at the Emirates Stadium. But we had some bids here from Adam Ida. One from PSV for £12.1 million. I rejected it due to realism, and one from KRC Genk as well. I'm not saying that Ida wouldn't move abroad at some point in his career, but I think at this stage he's probably more likely to go to another Premier League side. And that's why when another bid came in here, after Maitland-Niles had a bid from Espanyol, Newcastle United put a bid in of £12.2 million. And as I reject this bid here from Maitland-Niles from Espanyol, he's staying here despite now being our backup right back. 12.2 mil for Adam Ida from Newcastle United. Possibly could have got a little bit more money for him as he's only 23 years old and 77 overall, but I thought, you know what, not going to rock the boat. I'll take the money. Guibels has come in. I have belief that Guibels will probably grow a little bit quicker than Adam Ida, so I was fine letting him go. Adam Ida goes to St James's Park for 12.2 mil, and again for realism as well. That's the main reason I did that. Look, KRC Genk and PSV, the bids were practically the same amount of money, but for realism's sake here, do you think he's going to go to Belgium, the Netherlands, or stay in England and try and make a name for himself in St James's Park? I think it's more likely to be the third of those options there. So Ida goes to St James's Park. We see our four fixtures for the Premier League here. The opening four fixtures: Saints away on the opening day, Fulham away at Craven Cottage, then the Toffees, and also Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park, our final game of the first month of August. And after the sale of Adam Ida and also the season ticket money coming in as well, we now had just over £90 million to play with a month still remaining in the transfer window. So I was thinking, right, we've already made four signings here. We bought in Ben White, bought in Konsa, we bought in Lamptey, and now we bought in Guibels as well. Let's get our fifth signing of the window. And I talked about it earlier, the quality in depth was what we were lacking last season. Outside the first 11 on the bench, there was no one. We had Willian and Di Maria that have now retired, and a bunch of youngsters that really don't have much potential. So I thought this season, if we're going to compete on multiple fronts like we couldn't do last season, especially in the Champions League in midweek as well, we need quality and strength in depth. So what I decided to do was go after Harvey Barnes. Massive fan of Harvey Barnes in real life. I think the guy is criminally underrated. As I rejected this bid here from Leverkusen for Kasper Dolberg. I think he's a great player. Very talented indeed. And we negotiated a deal here with Brendan Rodgers for the winger, who can also play through the middle as well. 85 overall, 26 years old, so in the prime of his career right now. I had to put in a whopping £65 million plus 25% sell-on clause for Rodgers to accept. I'll tell you what, we've done some shrewd business in this series, but I think Leicester totally fleeced us with this one, man. Massive bid and the sell-on clause as well. But listen, in terms of quality and depth, this guy's going to provide it. This guy is exactly what we're after. A winger, a creative player, and also someone who can play through the middle as well. 130 grand a week, 5-year deal is what Harvey Barnes agreed to. He became our fifth signing of the transfer window for a massive 65 million and 25% sell-on clause deal. But Tell you what, man, you look at this guy's stats, absolutely superb. Rapid, 4-star, weak foot, he can shoot, he can pass, he can dribble. The guy is just a great source of creativity in terms of getting goals by scoring them or setting them up. Exactly what we were after last season. We started off the season, if you remember, as the top scorers, but in mid-season we kind of fell away a little bit. We kind of lacked inspiration, and in the games where this guy wasn't banging them in or assisting, we weren't scoring many. So Harvey Barnes will come in, and when one of Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, obviously Suarez up top or Saka aren't doing the job, then we know Barnes can come on and provide that creative spark that we are lacking at times. And speaking of Reece Nelson as well, rejected a big bid from Borussia Dortmund. Of course I was going to turn it down. Absolutely no way. We got Saka from Dortmund last year. They were willing to spend a lot of money and give us a club record fee for Reece Nelson. But come on, man, this guy's become the star of the team and the series as well. Reece Nelson's my guy. He's going nowhere, man. The boy from Arsenal is staying right here at the Emirates Stadium. Absolutely no way. Blocked offers as well. Reece Nelson is our little legend. And also, speaking of Nelson as well, you would have just noticed there, I did decide to change the numbers around from him, Bukayo Saka. So Nelson last year wore number 7, but now that Saka is back, I've given him the 7 that he wore, I should say he wears in real life for Arsenal, and Reece Nelson, being the great teammate he is, says to Bukayo, you take the number 7, I'll go to number 11 this season. So that Reece Nelson 7 jersey, that's going to be an iconic one, man. But yeah, Nelson takes the 11 now as Saka gets his traditional 7 back. And as we look at the squad here before the season opener away on the South Coast against Southampton, well, we've done what I wanted in the transfer window so far. We spent the vast majority of our massive budget, but you look at the squad here, it's got a little bit thicker, so there's a little bit more depth, and most importantly, there's more quality in depth now as well. You know, Maitland-Niles becoming our backup right back when last year he was a starter. Ben White coming in as a third choice centre-half, with Konsa coming in to improve our back line. Mikel Merino now being pushed further forward, so Josh Da Silva can sit on the bench. Willem Guabels might be a rating lower than Adam Ider as a third choice striker, but I think he probably will grow a little bit quicker as he is a year younger as well. And of course, you know, you think about Tyreek Mitchell still being our left back. Yes, Ramsdale's a step down from Castells. We didn't need two goalkeepers that were 85 and 86 overall as well. I just have to say, in general, I'm pleased with how this team is looking. And of course, the biggest signing of the lot so far, Harvey Barnes, 65 mil, but sat on the bench as a source of creativity to come off the bench when we need it in the second half. Gotta say, improving the quality and depth, that was my main goal this season. We've done that really, really well so far, and there's still 3 weeks to go before the transfer window slams shut. So for the first game of the season, the Saints away, South Coast at St Mary's, looking for an opening night victory, and just 5 minutes into the game, we would break the deadlock as well. Bukayo Saka down the right-hand side, rolling it across the face of the area, and who's there to turn it in? Well, it's the Colombian that we inherited here at Arsenal. We didn't sign him, we didn't bring it in, he was here already. Arteta signed the Colombian, and he's been sublime. He was great last year, 18 goals in the Premier League, scores our first this season as we take the early advantage here at St Mary's, but the lead would not last long. Southampton back on level terms just 8 minutes later. Very unfortunate goal as well. Leno with the great save on the 1-1 with the rebound turned in. And he must have felt like Kasper Schmeichel, Leno, making a brilliant save there, but a rebound coming straight back to the opponent who turns it in. So Southampton 1, Arsenal 1, the Saints back on level terms, but 27 minutes in, still tied at 1-1, playing some nice football on the edge of the area, looking for a breakthrough, looking for an opening. Reece Nelson slides through Kieran Tierney, pegs it inside, and there's Suarez at the double to get another. Luis Suarez, I tell you, the Colombian, he is such a great striker, and I think one of the biggest benefits to coming into this Arsenal team was knowing we didn't need a new striker. Kasper Dolberg, the Dane, is great on the bench, but Suarez is our regular starter. He is so consistently good, and in the second half, still leading by 1, wanted a 2-goal cushion for the first time in the game to extend our lead, and 8 minutes after the restart, well, this guy last season, Premier League Golden Boot winner, player of the tournament, the star of the show, Reece Nelson, now wearing the number 11, changed his number, but it won't see a decrease in ability, gets his first of the year as he aims to retain his Golden Boot and wraps up the points on the South Coast. Final score, Southampton 1, Arsenal 3. What a way to start the season off, and again, a few new players coming into the team, Tariq Lamptey and Konsa starting, Merino in a new position as well, but no change to our good team football. That second goal in particular, really, really nicely worked goal as well. So that was a great opening day display. Exactly what we wanted. And if we are to be in a title race this season, I got to say, any game like that where we are firm favourites, we need to win. We can't just draw, but we need to win. Last season, I would have said, you know, away at South Coast, Southampton, tricky test, away from home, a point would be alright for me. But nowadays, no, if we want to be in a title race, we've got to be brave, we've got to be assertive, we've got to go for wins. So, following the game, as you can see, 2-bid here, 1-4 Boubacar Kamara from PSG, which we rejected due to it being a swap deal, which I couldn't be bothered to negotiate. I did have no plans to sell him anyway. 86 overall, and he's a really good anchor man in this team. And also a bit for Kasper Dolberg from Borussia Dortmund as well. Went back and forth, and I was okay negotiating a deal with the Germans. I wouldn't be against selling Dolberg, because as a backup striker, he's totally competent on the bench, but didn't score that many goals last season. Wouldn't be against selling him and looking for someone new, but to be fair, unless I get a decent deal, I'm not going to let him go. I'm fine with him as a backup. He does the job when required, and obviously Suarez is too good to lose his place regardless. But for the second game of today's episode, second one of the season, once again away from home, first London derby, Fulham at Craven Cottage. A very tough game, this one, to be fair. Fulham stood very strong, couldn't really break them down. I got one chance in the entire game. And Fulham are sick of Reece Nelson. I swear, even at Burnley, every time we faced Fulham, Reece Nelson got a goal. He always scores against Fulham, man. Reece Nelson loves to play at Craven Cottage. Scored the only goal of the game there in a 1-0 victory. So first clean sheet, we'll certainly take that for the season. Nelson being the hero once again. And after the game, we rejected a bid for Maitland-Niles from Aston Villa. Again, like I said, he might be back up right back now, but I really like Maitland-Niles both in the game and in real life as well. Very decent player, so he's going to be staying with us. And for the third game of today's episode, the Toffees here at the Emirates Stadium in the Premier League. Last year, knocked us out of the FA Cup in the fourth round. My earliest exit in my managerial career so far in the FA Cup. Looking for revenge, and so early on into the game we get the opening goal. Great through ball towards Reece Nelson, and Nelson already with his third goal in his many games turns the last defender inside out and bangs it in to the back of the net. 1-0 Arsenal, and 25 minutes in he gets his second goal and fourth in 3. Can you tell he's motivated to retain that golden boot? Shushing the doubters that say he can't do it again. 4 goals in 3 games for our new number 11 as he makes it 2-0 very early on. And 40 minutes in, still leading by 2. Harvey Barnes here. First game for the club. This would have been miraculous and I pulled it off. Lovely flick over the head with a shot from range going way over the bar as it was still 2-0. But yeah, still leading by 2 and, you know, playing quite well. Almost gave Everton a really cheap goal here, trying to play out from the back, getting it wrong. But what a save by Bernd Leno. That's why despite being in his 30s, he gets that contract extension. He's still a class goalkeeper regardless of his age. And from that we broke, came down the right hand side. Bukayo Saka gets in behind the back line. Quick little ball roll to beat the last man Anderson, and the finish to match as well for his first goal of this season. Bukayo Saka back wearing number 7. He scores our third goal to make it 3-0. What was a very dominant display in North London for our first home game of this season. I mentioned before, when you have your first home game of this season, there's always extra incentive to win it. Like, you want to start off on the front foot in front of your home crowd, and we did that as well in style. 3 in the final score, Nelson with the brace, and 1 for Bukayo Saka as well. They've swapped their numbers, but they're still going to be just as good as they were last year, I'm sure of it. So yeah, great performance there and great start our home campaign off with a victory as well. And for Barnes as well, you'd have noticed in that game he did play in the attacking midfield role. I'm not going to change his position to attacking midfielder, but I am quite tempted to do it, to be fair, because he's got the pace to play as an inside forward. That probably is his best role, with Martinelli on the bench as well. He is a left winger and an inside forward. I'm not sure. There is temptation to change him to an attacking midfielder as our backup for Emil Smith-Rowe. Still following out, the Champions League group stage draw was made, and as you can see, we've been drawn in Group H. Long pause there. Gave me a chance to get my breath back. We've been drawn in Group H. Paris Saint-Germain, CSKA Moscow, and also LASK as well. So I've got to say, you know, to be honest, it does seem pretty clear who the 2 front runners are. No disrespect to CSKA Moscow or LASK either, but I'd probably say we'll be battling with PSG for top spot in the group. Last year, of course, PSG won the Europa League in the game. I think we can top it. I think we can. But to be honest, for me, runners-up will do me just fine, man. If we have to settle for second place and qualifying as runners-up, that will do me just fine. So PSG, CSKA Moscow, LASK as well. Our first home game in the Champions League back at the Emirates Stadium is going to be Paris Saint-Germain as well. Super excited for that. But yeah, I think we're definitely favourites to qualify. If not top the group, then definitely get through at the very, very least as runners-up. Whether we win it or whether we finish second, of course we want to win it, but I would take second. Just qualifying and getting through the group is the most important thing. I feel confident we should be able to do that, despite having one of the favourites to win the competition, drawn in our group as well. Still following the draw, we did have a draw, our first of the season, goalless one away at Selhurst Park, so 3 straight clean sheets is nice, but failed to score in that game, quite frustrating indeed. And as transfer deadline day would come round on the back of the point as well, we would have a very quiet deadline day for the first 7 hours. Nothing went on whatsoever until we had a bid for McGuinness. Not a big bid here. AJ Hawks there putting in a bid for our young Irish centre-half, which we rejected. Wouldn't mind selling him, but for realism's sake, just couldn't see him going abroad to France at this stage of his career. And also a bid for Ben Godfrey as well. This was so interesting. Spurs wanted to take him to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and make him a reverse Sol Campbell. And I said to Spurs, no. No, Ben Godfrey staying here, man. He's still going to be our starting centre-half this year alongside Ezri Konsa. I'm keeping Godfrey with me. If he's going anywhere, the last place I'm selling him to is our North London rival, so Ben Godfrey does stay here. But with around 27 million in our budget heading into transfer deadline day, I did have one target on my shortlist, and it was Harry Wilson, the former Liverpool midfielder that has moved on to Newcastle United in the game. We negotiated a £25 million deal with Steve Bruce for the 27-year-old, and again, really, it's just for squad depth. You know, again, the attacking midfielder, like I said, I could move Barnes there, but I like him more as an inside forward. But Wilson, as a creative player, very decent indeed, will get him in his prime. He signed a 5-year, 80 grand a week deal, so quite an expensive contract to be fair, but for squad depth again, this is what we needed. More quality in depth. We've got it in Harry Wilson. Like Harvey Barnes, he can play on the wing as well. 3-star, high medium work rates, great technical stats, very good dribbler of the ball, good shooting from range as well, just like Harvey Barnes to be fair. And as Wilson comes in, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that signing right there. It meant that we spent basically every single penny in the transfer window, but I have to say, for this incredibly long summer window, 3 sales, Ida, Mancini and Bayeri all leaving the club, 2 players in their late 20s, and Ida was out of contract at the end of the season, but also the players that came in, Ben White, Tariq Lamptey, Willem Guebels on a free transfer, Harvey Barnes and Harry Wilson alongside Ezri Konsa as well. 6 new players coming in, 5 of them being British as we continue to assemble this British core, and whilst £219 million got spent on these 6 new signings, I've got to say, as Jude Bellingham has gone to Turf Moor, go on Burnley, good signing there, great statement of intent. I've got to say, I'm really happy with how this window went. It was a long window, there's no doubt about it. Took an age to play through, as you can imagine. But I have to say, with the signings that have came in, these 6 new players here, what did I say at the start of the episode? What we were looking for in this transfer window? We weren't looking for a superstar. We weren't looking for a Jadon Sancho. We weren't looking for a Kylian Mbappe. We weren't looking for a Neymar. No, we were looking for quality in depth and a slight but gradual improvement to our first 11. You see the big deals here. The biggest one, Oyarzabal going to Barcelona. But did you see that one at the end there? Leroy Sané going to Manchester United. I can imagine it's kind of like welcome to Manchester banners, but the reverse. You know, the Carlos Tevez ones with Leroy Sané in red. That would be class. But yeah, I have to say, you know, what we've done in this window, we spent practically every single penny. We've gradually improved the depth we had in terms of numbers. We've gone from having 29 players to 32. Okay, it's only an increase in 3, but it's still an increase regardless. And again, the quality and depth and the gradual improvement to the first 11, that's the most important thing. Mikel Merino now plays further forward as Josh Da Silva drops to the bench. That's a +3 rating increase there. Ezri Konsa comes in to play alongside Ben Godfrey, and Tariq Lamptey comes in to replace Maitland-Niles as he drops to the bench, being a rating higher as well. And you look at the squad depth as well. Harry Wilson and Harvey Barnes being bench/reserve players as well. Very happy indeed with the business we've done in this summer transfer window. I said when we took over at Arsenal, I didn't know what their identity was. I didn't know what side they were trying to be, but I think we know what team we're trying to be now. Play some good football, have a lot of pace on the wing, be able to shoot and create from distance as well, but also assembling that British and Irish, or primarily British and Irish core. You have to say, marks out of 10, I'd give us a 9. Very happy with how this team is now looking. There's still a long way to go before we can compete for a Champions League, for example. We're nowhere near good enough for that, at least not in my opinion, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're improving the depth in terms of quality. The first 11's got a little bit better as well. I'm very happy with how this Arsenal team is shaping up after this transfer window. So the final thing we do in the episode number 50, which I really hope you guys have enjoyed, the 30-minute transfer special, is send our scouts out. We sent 3 scouts out One has gone to England for 9 months. You'll see I'm specifying a type of player now. Specified a type of player for a goalkeeper from England. Technically gifted from Spain as well. And from Africa, I sent a scout to Africa once again. We're going to Nigeria this year, looking for physically strong players from Nigeria. So our scouts out for another 9-month missions, and hopefully this time, this is the year we get some decent Youth Academy players. That will end this special episode number 50, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this thank you special. If you have, then please drop a like. It took an age to make, so if you guys did enjoy it and did appreciate it, then please do drop a like. I really am thankful for them all. Have a fantastic day, guys. Hope you enjoyed the season opener and the special episode number 50. Much love to you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you for episode number 51, our first game back in the Champions League with our new look Arsenal team, very soon.